Hey there, welcome to the Uplift. We got a great show for you, great cast of characters as well. Among them, the volunteers of what's called Southern California's longest drive-thru. People show up in the early hours of the morning to wait in line, but they are not getting fast food. Think about that. Also, a man sharing his story of newfound joy after losing his wife. How did he find purpose in a supermarket? Steve Hartman with that story. And a group of students working to decrease food waste by sharing more. Plus, someone whose acts of kindness have helped more than 59,000 people. He's called the Toy Man, and David Begnaud has his powerful story of giving back. All of that and much, much more heartwarming news heading your way. You're watching The Uplift. Hey there, I'm Tony DeCopel, and this is The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes, you and me as well. And we're going to begin with a lesson in purpose told by a man who found a new purpose after a major loss. Here's someone you know, Steve Hartman.
Good morning, and welcome to our lesson on
purpose.
And for a definition, we turn now to Emmett at the dictionary desk. Emmett.
Good morning. I've got to give credit to Meryl on this one. Back when she was 6, she came up with a definition for purpose and wrote it on a card which we saved. Meryl, do you want to read it?
Purpose is what you do for other people that makes you unique.
I love that. I love that it's other people and that it's unique to you. Pretty smart for a little first grader. You're a genius.
Well, I got it from my genius mother.
Oh, I would not take that.
Anyway, people find their purpose in lots of ways. It can be through faith or family or even your job. But in this story, we meet a man who found his purpose in a most unusual place. It may be my favorite story ever because there's a lesson in here for anyone in search of purpose.
In a cemetery outside Augusta, Georgia, a loving couple was buried. The wife buried below this white bouquet. The husband buried above in a mound of grief. 82-year-old Dan Peterson says after Mary died, he fell into a deep depression.
What were you living for?
I was trying to figure that out, frankly.
You had no purpose?
No.
Were you just waiting to die?
Yeah.
For 6 months, it was just that bad.
And then one day you go to a grocery store.
It all changed inside this Publix.
Dan was nearing the end of the canned vegetable aisle. He hates grocery shopping, and by all accounts, the expression on his face confirmed his aggravation. But that's when this unapproachable man was approached by a 4-year-old girl named Nora Wood.
In the security footage, you can see Nora randomly reaching out to him. Her mom, Tara, says it was quite embarrassing.
She said, "Hi, old person, it's my birthday today."
Old person?
Old person.
Hi, old person.
She says this to this cranky old man?
Yeah.
And then had the audacity to demand a hug.
I said, a hug? I said, absolutely.
Nora got her hug and then asked her mom to take a picture of her with her new friend.
She zeroed in on him like a missile. And she didn't want anything from him. She just wanted to make him feel loved and give him a hug. And his little lip quivered and he was teared up, and it was just sweet.
And I said, you don't know. This is the first time for quite a while that I've been as happy.
After that, Dan's grin only got wider.
Hi, sweetheart, come in, come in.
Nora started visiting once a week.
So how's my sweetie, huh?
And every time, it was the grocery store all over again.
I knew I was going to get a hug. Oh, it's unbelievable. Totally unbelievable.
It's a bridge.
Oh, okay.
Dan does have grandkids of his own, but they're all grown and gone. And Nora does have grandparents, but her mom says this is a completely different kind of bond that almost defies explanation.
She fell asleep holding a picture of them. What?
To Dan, it's equally miraculous, but far less mysterious. He believes Nora is quite literally an angel.
She opened me to a love that I didn't know existed.
When your wife died, You felt like you didn't have any purpose anymore. Do you feel like you have a purpose now?
Of course. Nora, watching her grow up, I know I made room in my heart for a lot more.
Joining us now, Nora Wood. Welcome.
I'm so glad to be here.
We're so glad to have you.
Nora, how old are you?
I'm 11.
Did you and Dan stay close after my dad's visit?
Yeah, we visited every Sunday. It was very nice seeing him.
Dan died back in 2020, right?
hmm
And you were at the funeral, front and center. And I know how hard it is to lose somebody, but in the 4 years since, when you look back, what do you think of when you think of him?
I like to think about it in like a happy perspective. There's a picture of him in my room, actually.
Is it the same one that you used to sleep with?
Yeah.
Is it? Why do you think that story touched really the world as much as it did?
Because I think that everyone just wanted a hug. I think everyone thought, wow, he got a hug, now I want a hug. And I'm happy for him.
Thanks for being there for Dan, and thanks for talking to us today.
Of course, I love talking to you.
You know, people are always searching for meaning and purpose. But Nora and Dan show us that this doesn't have to be some grand quest. That the answer may just be a hug away. We'll see you next time.
Until then, stay kind.
Coming up, we're going to take you to a high school in Miami where the students are committed to sharing at lunch as a way to fight what is a global problem. Plus, David Begnaud introduces us to the Toy Man.
Do you know how much money you've spent on giving all this away to people?
I never counted how much, but many thousands of dollars.
Tell me, where have you made all this money from that you used to give away?
I invested my money into the stock market.
Food waste is the #1 cause of climate change, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. And they should know one group of students is working to combat that issue of food waste by sharing more. Here is Betty Wynn.
School lunch. It can be hit or miss. Not everything on these plates are going to be eaten.
But sometimes people only like one thing and they don't like the rest, so they don't really know what to do with it and they throw it away.
But instead of tossing it in the trash, Miami-Dade students are donating their unwanted food right here in the school cafeteria.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
This unwrapped food is collected so other students who might want it can eat it, and it's all free.
It's called a share table, so we're sharing with others.
This is a simple, easy way, and if it rolls out to more schools, they'll understand food waste and climate. They'll be able to take that message home to their parents, their family, their fellow friends, and it becomes more of a movement.
The Share Table is being launched here at J.C. Bermudez Doral Senior High School. By keeping edible food out of landfills where it creates methane gas, these students are helping curb climate change.
It's really hard to not waste food at home as well as in large places like a school. So the fact that they're conscious of it, that's the biggest thing.
These share tables are also available at 3 other elementary schools. As the program spreads, you can imagine the impact with over 300,000 students in the Miami-Dade School District.
So together we will change and hopefully become ambassadors for the entire school district and for other school districts around this country.
And here's another benefit to this.
So every Friday, whatever's left on our share table, we'll pick up, and that'll go back to local shelters and other community members who are in need.
It's a program bringing several issues to the table for a shared solution. The Miami-Dade School District is partnering with Food Rescue US to create these share tables. This 3-pronged effort to reduce food waste, curb climate change, and feed the food insecure is why these students are making Miami proud. Betty Wynn, CBS News, Miami.
Coming up in a moment, we're going to meet another group of people trying to fight a food problem. They're using a drive-through line to do it.
We have cars line up as early as 3 or 4 in the morning. We don't start the drive till 9:30. So to us, as the volunteer team, it tells us that the need is there and we want to do whatever we can.
Here's a little journey for you now to what's believed to be the longest drive-thru in all of Southern California, but it's not what you think. There's no fast food at the end of the line. So the question is, why are people waiting in their cars for hours here? Well, Caitlin O'Kane explains.
It may just be Southern California's longest drive-thru line, but when these drivers pull up to the front, there's no window, fast food, or even cashiers. Instead, each car is met with a troop of volunteers, efficiently placing bundles of fresh produce and 2 weeks' worth of groceries in the trunk, all for free. This is Seva Collective Food Pantry in Santa Ana, California, which is a food desert, meaning almost a fourth of all residents here struggle to consistently access nutritious food. Born in a crucial time of need at the start of the pandemic, this organization began with a scrappy operation, a handful of volunteers, food, and toys purchased by the organizers themselves, and a dream to help a community dealing with food insecurity.
When we first started, we were driving to LA downtown food market, we were driving to Central California to pick up citrus, we were kind of all over the place.
The name Seva comes from the concept of selfless service in the Sikh faith, and their slogan, Sarbat Da Bala, is a phrase used in the religion that means do good for all. And that's just what this group is doing.
It takes away a sense of dread, and it takes away a sense of anxiety of not having enough food to supply for the family.
The initiative has served nearly 4 million meals since 2020, partnering with various food banks, farms, and companies to distribute 60,000 pounds of food to more than 1,200 families monthly.
We have cars line up as early as 3 or 4 in the morning. We don't start the drive till 9:30. So to us, as the volunteer team, it tells us that the need is there and we want to do whatever we can.
While its primary goal is to feed people in need, Seva Collective places an emphasis on delivering fresh produce and unprocessed foods to encourage healthy habits and slow systemic health problems in this food desert community.
Fresh food, a lot of produce, a lot of vegetables, fruit, we have canned food, we have many different items.
For Vaisakhi, one of the most religiously significant days of the year for Sikhs, Seva Collective had a special drive, distributing toys, books, and clothes to kids and families in need so they could celebrate.
We are celebrating Vaisakhi, which is when we became the collective that we are. And so we want to share that with the community. We want everyone to be able to celebrate with us and give something back.
In addition to providing food, toys, and other essentials, the organization has passed on the spirit of paying it forward.
It's given me a sense of being able to give back. I would never have had the means to help anybody else out. Having the extra food, and I love to cook, has made it available for me to go in my neighborhood to the homeless and feed them.
What we get, if there's something we don't use, we give it to somebody else as well. We try to help our neighbors out.
What's perhaps most remarkable about the whole operation are the volunteers who show up before sunrise and days in advance to make this drive happen, for nothing in return.
The concept of Seva just in general, that's what brings me back. Because I really like to help people, and Seva is the pure embodiment of that.
It's a form of meditation for me because, being amongst this whole group of amazing people and working here, what better way to spend a Saturday morning than this?
Over 500 unique volunteers have shown up to help over the years, rain or shine.
It's a labor of love, but I know when you see the cars and the number of cars and the number of people in line, it's making an impact, a positive impact on the community.
I feel lucky to work with those kinds of people all year long, and I feel blessed that we can help the families who come out. There's so many emotions.
It's a beautiful thing. Coming up, we're going to stay in Southern California for another story, a story of giving. This one about a man who single-handedly has helped more than 59,000 people. David Begnaud shows us how he's doing it in a moment. We now introduce you to a humble humanitarian you've probably never heard about, but he's helped more than 59,000 people. David Begnaud has his story.
It's what the kids sent to me.
Those pictures that Jeffrey Olson cherishes are of children he hardly knew and may never see again.
This is Matthew Garcia.
Matthew was a child Jeffrey met in a hospital.
He had that worst case of muscular dystrophy, so I got him. He was wishing for a Tickle Me Elmo.
The toy for Matthew, and those he gave to many, many, many others, has earned Jeffrey a very special name.
Vista's Toy Man has done it again.
They know me by my nickname, the Toy Man.
And what do people know you for?
For my 36 years of humanitarian work and serving 59,960 people. And then...
Not that you've counted.
I do that every year.
For 36 years, what he has done in San Diego County, California, has earned him celebrity status. Toy Bounty is for needy kids. Boy, the newspapers love you around here. His bounty has been built with his own money.
Show me this toy shed, Jeffrey.
And stockpiled safely away, ready and available for those in need.
What you got?
Yeah, all these boxes.
Organizations that help people rely on Jeffrey to help them.
Had some slippers and sweaters.
Do you know how much money you've spent on giving all this away to people?
I never counted how much, but many thousands of dollars.
Tell me, where have you made all this money from that you used to give away?
I invested my money into the stock market.
Jeffrey Olson was by profession a salesman in the suit department at the local JCPenney. His passion for giving might be genetic, he thinks.
My grandma, when it was the Great Depression, she used to feed hundreds of people when they were kicked out of the apartments. And then my father, he helped out a lot of people too.
His father was a decorated Korean War veteran, honored again just this month. A man who lost his leg in the Korean War, and someone Jeffrey cared for until he died.
So how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling fine.
Now he cares for his 92-year-old mom, Olga.
It's really remarkable, Jeffrey. You've never had kids of your own, right?
No.
Never been married?
No.
You're so dedicated to other people.
There was something that happened to Jeffrey at a very young age that may have made him one of those other people who have needed his love and support.
Jeffrey, I know when you were a child, you were diagnosed with what doctors thought was epilepsy, right?
Yeah.
But turns out you didn't have epilepsy, right? So they gave you the wrong medicine.
Yeah. And then they were telling me that I was mentally retarded.
Did the medication that you were given incorrectly cause a developmental delay?
Yeah, somewhat.
In some way? Yeah.
A local newspaper investigated.
It appears the doctors were wrong. Recent brain imaging tests include...
And in 1998 reported what happened to Jeffrey may have happened to other children at a military hospital, and they too have to live with impairments.
But you've used that to your advantage in a way, right?
Yeah, that's also what makes me want to help the people.
I agree.
Because of having to go through that in life.
Can I tell you something? It doesn't take a big brain to help people. It takes a big heart.
Mm-hmm.
And you got one.
Yeah.
His big heart at 60 years old isn't slowing down because, as he tells it, he's got a very good reason to keep going.
When I do this work, I think I have the spirits of those kids with me.
Do you?
When I go, because I have this feeling, you know, like it's pushed me to want to do it.
I get that. That makes sense. Their spirit becomes something inside of you that's the fuel.
Yeah.
Which, as far as I can tell, has brightened the lives of at least 59,960 people so far. David Begnaud, CBS News.
And that is our show. We began with Steve Hartman. We end with David Begnaud. You cannot go wrong in between. I hope we brightened your day, lifted you up. If for some reason we didn't, those reruns, they're still free. Press play again. I'm going to go find some good news.